Documenting Metamorphosis, Monday 22nd of July. So much has happened, much to catch up on. A bit derailed to start my day, so it's 3:23 p.m. Just finished doing my business after a cup of coffee in the lavatory, and a renewed fresh inspiration in that moment to start again, to start the day again with a new vibe, because I just can't seem to get it together and get started. Even though I've woken up 10 minutes to 10 by Lily and the dog. I was somewhat derailed by my beautiful, dear lover friend. Where am I going to put this? I'm trying to put this somewhere, I beg your pardon. This is real. Just suddenly was turned up as I finished writing. Start writing something. And just finished getting it out to my son. And suddenly she walks in. I was happy to see her. She probably tried to get in touch with my phone and still off. That's all good. No worries with that. Just roll with it. But suddenly we got some kind of disharmony going on. And that's the derail. So that's where we're at. Now, there's so much has happened all of last week, but certain Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday were monumental, and serious, profound spiritual experiences. Serious. I'm looking that way. Where's the camera? Oh, the camera's over here. Here you go. Here you go. Very serious spiritual experiences. I think stuff mainly on power scale kind of level. Probably the skills I've already had and the power I already had was just being released and accumulated and focused and harnessed, so to speak, as opposed to gaining more power, having built up, become more powerful. I think I've become more powerful through awareness of self and reaccumulating power in focus and confidence, etc., but also just becoming aware of self where one did not know oneself. So it's a headache, you see. Turns out, I was just thinking today, let's come back to the present, there's this headache that I've been tracing back. I identify as a different headache to one I was talking about recently. This one goes, it was about this deep from here, went up like that, and it was about that deep all the way through and finished on that kind of level, as opposed to coming down the back. And I traced it back to 2004, 2005. Working in a warehouse for Woolworths, 6 o'clock in the morning, and to come back to Brisbane because My missus rolled over at 3 o'clock in the morning and said, I want to have my baby in Brisbane. And we're in Townsville, doing quite well. Quite successful, you know what I mean? And I was about to take a month off my life to welcome my boy into the world. But instead, she flew back to Brisbane 2 days later. Then I had to pack everything up, buy a car, drive back down. And then it was the divine. The divine meant that I sort of had this shoe-in referral for quite a good job. But it was paid so well because of the toll it takes on the body and the mind. And that was a great standard of the industry standard. So we went on a strike within a couple of weeks of me starting, and I participated in the industrial action. And that was interesting because I always fight all these other fights, and suddenly I start working somewhere, and then we're going on strike, and it's expected you go on strike. So interesting turnaround contrast. So I really went with that one, really went with it, and then I ran hard with very gnashy teeth, and I brought them into alignment with legislation on a whole number of things. FYI, Woolworths is a much more ethical company because of me, guaranteed. Anyway, so find where you are, who you are. Every thought that you think, you choose to think that thought, and you choose your choice. Each individual and every individual thought and choice, which is one and the same again, is your power. It's your power of focus. It's what I've come to understand is most of magic for me. Magic possibly applies in different ways for different people, for different predispositions, perhaps. I'm more mind, air, ethereal, electric, and that's where it works for me. Studying this book and trying to write, we're trying to make altars and make physical things and physical little symbols of all different kinds of things. Just doesn't seem to hold any power, hold any reason, or I don't know. It just doesn't seem to be a thing. Even if trying to do it for the exercise, it doesn't really seem to be the thing to do. Does that make me brighter? I don't think so. So all of that digressing is to show there's a lot of wayward energy pulling me outward from myself anyway to start the day. Just working out what's what, where I'm at, and what's loose, what's unfinished, what's undone, what is relevant to what else, because those are the things that are obviously already in consciousness and they need to be addressed. And simply identifying and getting that picture sorts probably 70% of it out at least, generally. Then I come to a point, which is where I came today, once interrupted. Well, I wasn't interrupted, but I just finished writing, so the energy was focused, and then I suppose it was a bit of a disruption. Then I was going to go have a cup of coffee, take a shit, do some exercise with the dogs, having a bit of a sniff and scratch around in the sunshine, and then look at turning my phone on and drink probably 1.5 liters of water, if possible. Tends to not really be happening though. I've got to drink water now, which actually I'm going to do that because if I've got the ability to ramble on with shit, I've got the ability to drink water. after a really monumental and powerful experience, or power enhancing, power reminding, and power reaccumulating experiences, and consolidating on that as well. There was a bit of a tense but not heavy experience last night after that sort of left me wondering, why was that so drawn out and so much of a stress? And then I realized that we were talking about something quite meaningful, simple point, but there's the resistance as justifying or defending or arguing back, and all three, I suppose, against points that were either little points that were facts or were not points you could really argue against, let's say, or they were assumptions and a defensive response to something that I didn't say and was not going to say and was not my it didn't exist within me. It's not a thought or resonance intention within me. So it can't be, even if it's the tiniest little thing, it cannot be something that carries forward into tomorrow, because it's pretty dangerous, you know. For some reason I keep looking over there. So I'm a little bit like, oh God, what was that? Just lay down again, woke up, well, couldn't sleep. You know, it's just such a intense energy. And looking into it, I could see it was a headache. And it's just this pressure and intensity that's there, that has been there for years. And then I traced it back to being dragged, or having to drag my ass out of bed, which I normally wake up real early anyway, because I get up and train from dawn to at least 8:30 in Qigong Kung Fu every morning. And instead I'm going to this warehouse, doing unhealthy repetitive exercises for 8.5 hours, not getting paid for lunch, getting paid like nearly a third of what I was normally earning per hour, and just being locked in, having to do that, missing out on my son, while his mum was overwhelmed and overloaded and feeling alone and abandoned by me, whilst I was out providing for what she had been so determined to bring into creation, you know, bring into state of being. Stress, pressure. And it's still sitting there. It's just a few little fragments compared to what it was. It was this big, like a sail on the back of those dinosaurs that look like they've got a sail kind of thing, like a comb, straight up like that. And it was that big. So I go right down, and the other headache is a different kind of headache. It comes over the top. It's a different thing. A different thing sits on there. This one is in there. There's a little bit in here and here and in there, about that far deep. In here and here and in there, right in there. Just unraveling that today was quite a revelation. I wonder if that is the thing that was in me that caused the flare-up to occur, as far as my participation. If not, then that's a stress area. And this is stuff that makes you need to go and lie down and just switch off, and so you can switch back on again. Otherwise you will end up with a pounding headache for day and a half. I will. So do I go this way, that way, that way, that way? What am I supposed to do now, you see? Either way, there's this stress and pressure that can suddenly turn into a splitting headache. So, as the moment came to be too stressful, for it to settle down with that charge that was there, then I left the room. I came downstairs, picked up the guitar straight away, and expressed something through it that I had not been able to express in weeks. So that expression helped to clear the mind. But it's still there, there's still this pressure to go and do all the stuff that I need to do. Haven't turned my phone on. It's getting close to 4 o'clock in the afternoon on a Monday where shit needs to be sorted from last week, kind of thing. I've got a hell of a lot of I've got shit that just really needs to have been done and shouldn't be done, shouldn't be needing to be done now, and it's not a good look. Instead of bringing myself just so efficiently together, choosing to write in the morning is choosing to write as meditation. Get it done, every word, every punctuation where it needs to be, and bang, on to the next, complete and clear. That point there is here, and probably 5 minutes of just calibrating the mind with thoughts back in on itself after putting outward, so let's say, and then into starting the day with momentum, focus. The, I suppose, disruption or the company that then comes in right at that moment means that I don't have those even 30 seconds to just focus back in, refresh, calibrate, cycle the chi kind of thing, and start the next interaction. But that's fine. So I've got focus, pretty calm. I noticed that there was a bit of a, you know, the body language was like, we won't reach to the, but that's fine. It's sort of, it's a bit inconvenient to have to reach for an embrace to say hello in certain positions and circumstances because of all the dogs, and that removes this pressure for it having to be a certain way, even though it makes it something more. Maybe that is a stress. In any case, before there could even be a proper hello and a hug and just be present and say hello, and a little slap on the ass that she likes, and it kind of is necessary for it to be a hello, you know. That's funny, that's the consistency thing, but there's got to be the whole build-up for that, this moment. But that doesn't get to occur because whilst you're just dealing with the practical things, to be able to turn around and go hello, then there's already a flare, a spark against a spark that flares up. And maybe it just burns straight out if it's allowed to. But the volume and the pitch of her voice has an effect on me. And there's suddenly stress in my ears, up the back of my head, back of my neck, into the back and top of my shoulders. It's like very electric. I don't like that. And I feel that it was a upset and feeling unaccepted, I suppose, or forced to be probably oppressed and unaccepted, I guess, maybe, from her point of view. And it was me, I think, basically just patience. And is that an emotion? Patience? Patience being tested. Whatever realm that falls into, such as passion, turns out to be an emotion. I did not know that. But when I found out, then yeah, okay. So one is emotional, which is too much for others, generally. Once you become too much of that emotion, you are very much too much for most people, it seems. And you are at risk of becoming the emotion at the expense of everything else. Now, to what degree of becoming that emotion so much that you're too much for other people? Or maybe it's only 20% where we think it's 80%. I say that to myself. All of this I'm saying to myself, basically. If someone else gets something from it, then good. I just written something to my son. Just press full stop. And, you know, within a minute of her being in the room, then as she walks into the room, just as I press full stop, oh, hello. And then within a minute, you know, the focus is on what am I doing, I'm writing a letter. And it contains certain energy, so I thought, here, you can read this if you like. And it presented as this is, and this is what I do when I present stuff. That's it. That's it. And she starts asking all these questions, which have these emotional frames of reference and relationships to all this other stuff, which is irrelevant. So deliberately, I say, that's not what I'm offering you. I'm offering you to look at this, and that's it. You either want to engage with that by choice, or you don't. But I'm not going into the other stuff. That's not what is contained with this. I'm not being drawn into that with the time and energy and focus, etc. You know. And apparently I'm a bit of a Nazi like that. But the point is, the noise that comes with all of that mental wanting to know something is not seen by the person who's carrying the noise, or the reasons why they want to know something, so that they can then have some emotional connection to something. And in this case, the point is that it's not relevant, and two, it's showing that she doesn't actually care about that stuff. But the access to the information is vitally important. And there's a bit of a problem there, because that is the very thing that causes the problem and causes the build up and the rise up of the flaring and the sparking against each other. And what it brings up is the lack of stability in the certainty of the relationship being, well, not even this, because she doesn't have this, well, whatever that the best word for that context is. I'll skip past that, because a relationship is never certain, because a person can die. And if that's the lesson for this particular kind of case, then the person will finally get what they want by having the security in a relationship where they're the only one, and they're married, and they're locked in, and there's no chance of being cheated on, betrayed, and all this kind of stuff. And then the person will die. They're just married or whatever. You know? And perhaps this is a lesson that's contained within this, or perhaps not. But there's a lot of lessons like that contained for me on the other side of that coin, as well as, I suppose, that same side of the coin. And I think the big thing is I learn lessons and I integrate them, I keep them in mind. So there's only a few things here and there that I catch myself and realize that I have not kept that in mind or integrated it fully, or I kind of forgot that, even though I just learned that lesson again. And so that's the biggest thing that's on my mind at the moment. In contrast, it seems that conversations can be had, and then later that day or the next day conversations can be had, and it's like that conversation prior never occurred. And that's a little bit concerning to me. I feel that that is the big thing. And the other thing is on the phone, and it's an issue. There was a dialogue there with my son. The rest of the dialogue is irrelevant. That message, which is like a script, it'll take a minute to read, minute and a half, that is all that's relevant. Then there's, you press back on the phone, then there's a message dialogue. There's no women in that message dialogue that could be of concern, I think. There's certainly no women that I'm talking to about any romantic stuff or anything that a woman could get jealous about in my mind. And there's none anywhere on my phone, but there's plenty that a woman could get jealous about if they wanted to. And or they could have a issue with if I won't engage in answering questions and giving it energy, you know? And the latter is more of the risk of the issue. It becomes an issue. So having to explain how I feel about my relationship to someone who I've not seen in 4 years or 7 years, that I studied with and then worked with, and they're overseas, and got a message dialogue going on talking about science. There's this emotional thing in the background that if I don't answer every question with a pure, compassionate, loving understanding for a stress that I'm very clear about not signing up to from the start, so that I'm not participating in the creation of it or having to deal with it as a result, but still having to deal with it, that is not what I want to interrupt and disrupt me from having a nice, cool, easy, smooth calibration start to the day. There, it's taken 27 minutes and 28 seconds to finally come to that point of working that out for myself is what's going on. Did not need it. So it's 4 o'clock now. Day's done. There are things that are my responsibility that should have been done, and they're not done, so they should have been done today. There should have been contact. So going through that, the point of going through that is it's brought something active here, so these points of stress are buzzing. There's blood and chi going there. Now, loaded into consciousness, there can be some focus. Any focus that is wayward, that's drawing me out. Got to do this, got to do that, got to do this, got to do this, should have done this, should have done that. You know, all these different directions from here in the center self. If they can be identified, that energy is reaccumulated, that's pulling away quite often without any effort at all. And all the focus is back within itself, and that's where you have ability to do something with power, even just with a few thoughts. And all of that has been lost and put to the wayside, which it would seem didn't even happen, based on having to talk about this for half an hour after already having done a 12 or 15 minute one earlier, which is when my friend left. Actually, she must have seen me talking to myself on the screen and go, fuck this. It's ego, narcissistic, or whatever, you know, goes on. No, she was not thinking that, but I think it could easily seem that way. But it is, it's about ego. Like, how is the ego protecting self and keeping self moving forward in life by doing this? Why is that the program it seems to work, or it thinks is the most appropriate thing to do? For me, I was clear. I was presenting something that is essentially creative. So it's an art, something that's written. It is not to be taken with anything else. the mind is to just simply accept it. You present a black and white photo, even if someone says, what's this? You just look at the photo. And yeah, that's what I said to finish the other one. I was trying to work it out. I think I come to the point that she wasn't accepting what was presented, and I was being intolerant of, I didn't present something that was to then possibly be compromised and changed into something else by someone's perspective. It was what it was. A black and white photo was presented, and there was no color to be applied to it. That's what it was. But because it was about a relationship, and then this relationship and relationship, then the point was completely missed. So we got to a point starting again, and handed the screen to her, but then she scrolled up and was like, no, take it off, I'm not doing this. One is, it's a stubborn willingness to not just look at something as it is, and engage in something as it is. It's this determination to layer something over the top of it before even looking at it, especially unconsciously. And then the other thing is that can be read, and it can just be so easy. Press a few buttons and then see a few other names, and if there happens to be a female name, I could be talking from half an hour to an hour and a half about this person to her, just so that she can be sure that there's no sex occurring or some intimate relation occurring that could possibly jeopardize her place or her connection with me, which she's the only one that's going to cut that off by having these limits and standards that things need to be a particular way. So that is something that's still very much alive in me, in my life, and showing in the results today to start the day. So it's so important when amazing things happen to get them down in the context and time and relevance so that everything has its place. Because some of the more meaningful things for incarnating as a human being can be forgotten in the shadow of that, what I just explained. The other relevant factor is that I said to my son, whose girlfriend was upset that he'd come up to the party, wasn't coming back till late with me on the weekend. And I said, well, it's not your problem to be upset if she's upset with you for that. You know, you don't have to have a hard time. She doesn't have to make your life hard for the next 4 days because of that. And if she does, then have a good look at that, you know? 19 years old, have a good look at what you want to happen in your life and what you don't want to happen. Next day. Yeah, so the point with that is that I left. Come down and played this song, which we're going to do again to try and start the day. And then I thought, bugger it, I'll do this recording and, you know, try and make it real. And don't have the time and headspace for this, but it's like it's unraveling what is tight and not, and seeing, oh, this is actually why. Where I had to do that last night to trace back to the conversation got disrupted about stuff that was not relevant or not said, and it just was this defiance to be stuck in an argument against something that wasn't the case, where the point was about having to just sit with the idea that maybe not just one but a few people close to me, like twice my age, might die soon, and they might go out in total dementia, and they might go out real quick. And how that is something that we just need to accept, that feel grateful for the dementia, even though we find it quite disturbing, and let them go with absolute love and grace. Maybe we've got to wipe their ass for them in 2.5 weeks' time. They don't even know who we are. That's the older generation. That's what they had to live through when they were young, you know. Feel grateful for people going through dementia because they're letting go in their way so that they can cross over. I learned yesterday that thought form realities are built by people to hold them somewhere after they die, and a lot of them, they don't even realize that they're dead. They don't understand why no one's talking to them. Some people just basically imagine a room and a hallway to half a kitchen, and that's motivated by fear, and it locks them in there for years and years and years and years and years by choice. Another interesting thing. So much to do, don't know what I'm going to do. Make a plan, go to do it. I realize I don't have the energy or whatever, and just make it work from tying all the loose frayed ends together, and then someone come and interrupt. I'll include people in my life and just keep rolling. This seems to be the vibe, you know. It's not like I've got a problem saying no. But people want a certain thing from me. It seems that is in alignment with me, except for the fact that they don't give a fuck and they disregard most of what they come to get off me. It takes my time, energy, I don't get paid for it. And some of the people, the ones that I care about, that are really close to me, well, it stresses me. I feel stress in my body. And that's a perfect place to move into. Thursday, Friday, monumentally stressful days, higher sensitivity, but sticking with it, everything that's been the point of doing this Nobbs Suzuki Praxis, let's say, and then results that came on Friday especially were monumental, and that came from being stressed about the dogs, a few other things pulling me out, very busy writing something in the morning for longer, which is a good meditation, but then it put me out 2.5 hours. It was very good to get that expressed, everything in place, let that go, and then straight away interacting with people instead of taking at least half an hour to just build myself and my chi and my focus and my mind up, and my patience, yeah. So then the day, everything was always out, someone else, something else, and time and pressure. Finished with a spontaneous plan to get picked up without much notice and go and feed the homeless people, which was a great experience. However, I did not clear myself and focus and prime myself before going to the next part of the day, which is the first time I've done that in at least a good 12, 15 years, good 12 years, 12 and a half years at all, let alone going to do some kind of engagement, which is interacting with people that have got heaviness, you know, yuckiness around them. 2 rookie mistakes occurred there of being just unconscious in not clearing and not really being aware of what I was about to do or what I was doing, and then watching that happen, watching the effect, and then doing it anyway, and just sort of the responsibility of taking that on, but making it quite an uncomfortable experience. And then I just deal with it on the fly, which I did. And so I demonstrated that to people, how to deal with the stress and the experience of what other people have created for their mind and their experience, let's say. So you get some great understanding, but it can really weigh us down. For example, you know, like you walk into a pub by the time you smell that beer smell in the air conditioner in the carpet, then you can already be quite covered with that yuckiness that's inside there. And if you feel that, there's some people that just walk in there, they feel that stuff, they turn around and walk out. They're not going in there. It's the main reason why most people in the community don't go into casinos, because it's some really yucky, sticky energy. Like public toilets, you know, you can walk in some public toilets and it just feels really yuck. I don't know what's going on in there, but, you know, and you got to stay in there for another 2 minutes, you know, feel, yeah. So with that, I used the "Oh, splendor of sunburst breaking forth this day, whereon I may lay my hands once more on Helen, my wife." It keeps going somewhere. That momentum, direction, exercise thing, to spiritually transform the storm around people and around me and send it somewhere with a focus and calibration that it was a transformation, transmutation that come about by noticing I was making a cup of coffee for this guy, and I'm even just clearing my mind to pray, because I always have my mindset in a particular state when I'm preparing food or cooking, especially for another person. So I instantly noticed that, and I found it was effort and difficult to bring myself to just that simple focus. So that's what became the focus, and that was in the mind, and anything that was talking with people was somehow applying that, using that focus and redirection of energy, as in, "Oh, splendor of sunburst breaking forth this day, whereon I may lay my hands once more on Helen, my wife." I'm actually lacking it quite a lot. I feel, because once you get that, I don't really want my voice to be raised, as there's already been this aggression. Like it wasn't aggressive, but it's the stress, and I don't want that to be directed somewhere, because aggression isn't a direction. Interesting to note that, I think. Yes, that's an interesting point. So there's a huge amount of power that's been lost in the way that this has been expressed. It should have been that this other incredibly beautiful, like Master Yoda kind of stuff, like Qui-Gon trying to teach Obi-Wan certain lessons kind of thing, being applied, and then demonstrating that to my son, and my son seeing it the next day. Just really amazing, beautiful stuff that shows life is beautiful. It's put to the wayside to talk about the dynamics between lovers in the human world that can just derail the start to a good flow. And why is that? So John says that he doesn't want to talk about relationships, and this doesn't help with relationships, and he never said that and doesn't want to go anywhere near that, made that clear. And I was saying, well, I think that this is the key to be able to learn how to have a relationship with yourself and then with others, you know, and that's what life is about, is relationships. And I think it is, but I really see what he's saying, you know, like, would not dare go into the realm of telling anyone anything about how to engage in relationships. For me, I think I'm pretty clear about how I will engage in any relationship, particularly if it's one of a close, intimate nature, sex. I'm very clear about that, for responsibility, accountability, and just to have the best experience. So that's an extra stress. Patience is the thing that's tested, but it's the patience is then about something of intolerance, and I'm being intolerant, and I'm not being intolerant so much as my patience and my ability to engage in that kind of stuff for a few different reasons just is not there, and certainly not worth testing. If that's what you want, then you're not here to get that from me. You can get that from somewhere else. I'll give you all this energy in more than what you can possibly want, but not with those conditions. How do I feel today? I don't think I'll put words to that. I think I like that to be as it is. I had some incredible experiences that are not so easy to explain. But basically, this sensitivity thing really is a thing. Like, I'm very sensitive to other people, particularly under a full moon maybe. And places of significance, like places that have like 5 Bora rings in close proximity, and people that feed homeless people. They've got a particular energy, very beautiful, sensitive to that, and then sensitive to other people. It's actually quite stressful, and I was very heightened and stressed because my dogs were stressed just from not being able to mate with their sister and daughter, you know, just not letting it happen. And it took a while to be able to get the girls somewhere else, so that stress was a heightened thing beforehand, which I'd completely forgot about. So it made me extra stressed before going to do the next thing, that I didn't really clear myself, clear my mind enough properly to be able to go to the next thing of the day, particularly something that's engaged with heavy energy like that, you know, and people. And it's this thing about, you know, our social constructs. I should go say hello to these people. I come here to meet these people. I should go say hello to these people now, rather than just taking 5 minutes for myself. It's a bit like the girl with the dragon tattoo. The guy says he's just stunned. He can't work out how people can override their survival instincts when they know they're about to die for fear of offending. It's incredible. It's something like that. Blessing and praying with using all the cumulative focus of your mind while preparing food or even a cup of instant coffee for somebody has this amazing transformational power if the heart intention is there and the mind is focused. It's like I was handing a coffee to somebody 4 times. The same thing happened when I handed the coffee to them. It was like handing the coffee to Jesus. And that anything else that was there, I just seemed to just focus with that, oh splendor of sunburst, which was no, oh splendor of sunburst breaking forth this day, whereon I may lay my hands once more on Helen my wife. That's intentionally held back and slow, but it's still got that momentum and it's going to where it's going, and that's where it's going. As this does. 51 minutes, fucking hell. The realness of this is what this is about. So if it goes on for a long time, then fuck it. If somebody gets something out of it, then great. If somebody doesn't kill themselves because of what they got from this, then fantastic. Sunday night I went to a party. Didn't get there till real late, but had to do everything I said I was going to do that day, so felt like I had integrity. Turned out my son came last minute, picked him up on the way out of the valley, and he wasn't having a good time, surprisingly. So he came to realize this is how adults can have a good time, without having a drink or anything, without any intoxication. And we partied in a really beautiful way till the next morning. Had a bit of a meditative rest and then came back, dropped him off. To show like this is how we're supposed to enjoy each other's company and interact with each other. I was the life of the party, naturally, and transformed some serious anxiety. There were some really evolved people there, and then some other people that these other guys are the only ones that give these people the time of day, and so they were there and able to feel comfortable. And it's like not having to deal with people's heaviness, but it was just suddenly transformed instantly as soon as it arose. And that's from the more manic kind of looking, allowing myself to sort of float up and float away in the air sign kind of airhead kind of thing that makes me appear like I'm quite manic or at risk of becoming quite manic. But there was always a containment direction with that ever since I sort of started playing with that skill. So I don't think there's too much of a risk there, but now there's very much a contained, it's like it's on 4 or 6 sets of rails, so it cannot be derailed. And it's got a real direction and momentum that has this latent potential that is always there and just can be whoop, and set. Just using that skill, I suppose, that energy skill of directing something somewhere. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in his petty pace from the last syllable to a recorded time. Yeah, to try and disperse a bit of aggression gently. I think I got that out. The other thing is talking about that with the days, that Thursday, Friday have been really intense days, and then turning to the person I'm talking to and saying, so how was your day? Then I instantly felt how their day was, how their whole day was. And they were trying to express something that they couldn't feel, but I could feel it. And by just noticing there was some energy blockage somewhere in their body, then they suddenly became aware of it and would adjust something in themselves. It was not me doing it, it was them, because they became aware of it and suddenly they could express how they felt. It was quite interesting. And these homeless people, whatever's going on for them in that situation, about 30 of them got something from me that I can't really put into words so easily. And that really did something for them, and they saw and understood something, and they took that with them that they can do for other people and pass on. And that's something that I got from John, that from the practice that I then applied in my own way in life, in my particular manner, but presented it and applied it in a certain way that was pretty much general and universal that anyone could understand. It's just if anyone was observant enough to notice, and then aware enough to be locked into it, because then it doesn't matter what the fear is or anything like that. You're already aware, so you're already so clear that you've gone so far into it and seen something that you don't actually get the chance to have any fear about pulling yourself out of it. You can't lie to yourself that you saw something. And quite often there'll be this movement of something through the group or the immediate area, and I'd say, did you feel that? And at least 2 out of 5 people would feel it, and the other 3 would witness that happening, and there'd be another change, and then a little gust of wind or something like that, and people were letting go of all kinds of stuff that I was not making them let go of. But if I felt that saying something, instead of going, oh, I won't say that, you know, anytime you ever get something like that, or that impulse, and I just said it without any resistance, and people thought about what I said and went along with it. Even if I sounded absolutely fucking crazy, then people would just linger for minutes later and obviously felt comfortable. Whatever got said was consciously considered, and I was only referring to something that was right there. I think a couple of people did not engage close enough to be engaged in that, but anyone else who engaged, then I think they all lingered for long enough to, yeah, something else harmonized on a greater scale. Gentleness. The other thing that was worth noting, see, all this stuff's getting forgotten. I did write all this down, send John some feedback so I can do a better one of this, but this is how fucking life goes, you know. It's Monday afternoon. Sorry, Elvis, I didn't mean to disturb you with that. He thought he was in trouble for a second. Just tensed up. All of this stuff that is listed in this Documenting Metamorphosis, and from prior, all the diligent work that you see you achieve something but it's not really that significant, or, you know, I would hope that if I've got all that here, I would have thought that I would have been doing better by now. Well, there's always a blessing within all of that. So I saw a lot of perspective while I was mid-sentence talking to people, of everything falling into place. Very interesting experience. Surrender over. Make the person on the lowest level of the measurement of doing well in this life. Make them your master. Treat them like God, like your baby, and see what happens. So I want to see how I feel. There's a different song to make up. I'll do. So I don't know what I'm going to do, and I thought about doing that one, but I'll do it differently. One thing I'll say here is John gave feedback of when you turn and you go with something, then keep going with it. Don't doubt yourself and pull back, because you lose the power. And I thought that I did something 200% and was just being sensitive, but with a deep investigation with him on that, then it comes out that it was me doubting myself. And the answer to that is to not find energy from somewhere else. Not sure. If you're not sure, you don't realize that you're not sure, but other people can tell, particularly an audience when you're performing, particularly when you're projecting something. I'm feeling that now, actually. And I am unsure because I just got something out, had a beautiful, smooth flow, thinking I'm in harmony, and suddenly there's this disharmony that's occurred. And how the hell did that happen? And it can't be undone. And what does it mean? And why is it happening? See, how, why, what, all of that, and when, they're all relevant, but which one is the thing that is most important to try and work it out, and the biggest stress? I don't see why you gotta let it go so hard. When it comes down to you, it's just up to me. Seems I got the ability to make you feel how you don't want. I don't give that power away, no thank you, man. So what do I say now? It's nothing to do to be. Not fixing it, but just hearing it speak. Accepting your life until I feel what's just come gonna stay the same. Is that how it goes? Man, I don't really like playing that kind of game. I got nothing to gain but love. I got nothing to lose but love. I got nothing on my mind but love. So why are we fighting for? Why the hell are we fighting for? Why? You don't know. I don't know why. So let's just settle now. So that's something I just made up at the top of my head and managed to bring it to some audible conclusion there. Otherwise, it ends up, the words don't flow well enough, so it sort of ends up conking out. Never used to. As soon as I started going, right, focus on doing this seriously, it just fucks out. I need to calibrate my mind through seeing how I feel today. So let's do that. Someone else's song. Whatever the time is, the day was fucking lost anyway, so turn the phone on until I'm not going to be stressed by the next interaction. might be leaving the planet soon. And if they feel something meaningful to you, just spend time with them while you can. If they go out dementia, don't argue, don't fight, don't force, just accept. Gentle touch, gentle love. Because they probably won't remember anything else. I remember when I lost my mind. Some so pleasant about a place. Every emotions of an echo. There's so much space when you're out there without a care. Yeah, I was out of touch. There's nothing that I didn't know enough. I just knew too much. Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Probably. But I hope you're out having the time in your life. But just think twice. That's my only advice. Come on now, who do you think? Who do you think you are? Ha ha ha. Bless your soul. You really think you're in control? I think you're crazy. I think you're crazy. I think you're crazy. But just like me. My heroes had to lose their lives and only. All I remember was thinking I wanted to be like them. Ever since I was little, it looked like it was fun. There's no coincidence I come. I can die when I'm done. That made me crazy. Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Doesn't make me crazy. Well, probably crazy. Probably crazy. Life's meaningless, but it's meaningful only to us who don't see we're the only ones giving meaningful ness to anything, especially our own lives. When you realize it's meaningless, you got the power of giving meaning to everything that you know. But if you don't see, you're the author of your life. That made you crazy. Crazy. Crazy music. You just don't see and you be acting free. You let yourself be something other than dysfunctional. Madness is another thing. Illusion is another thing. Crazy, I think, is a freedom that you give yourself so that you don't become insane or suffer from madness or delusions which are telling yourself you're not under an illusion. Either you don't see something or you're not lying to yourself about something. I also find it particularly prominent to notice the contrast of someone coming to the training and being invited to participate but not participating at all, but watching it very intensely, and then it almost seems like some of the most important parts of it that were registered and acknowledged, it seemed, from my perspective, it seemed like she acknowledged it and really got these points, and they're the points of fascination for her. Then it's like they've been disregarded and forgotten. But maybe it's just because they weren't experienced by her actually doing it. And yeah, there's a thing, you know, if people are not going to even try something, well, I'll try anything and everything with a very specific mindset, there's a lack of harmony there on some level, isn't there? There's a lack of alignment. And they get upset that I'm not answering a question simply or directly or something like that, but I did. It's just that I'm not looking at it the way, or approaching something the way that you want me to, or something like that, and then suddenly you got this disharmony. Well, if you let that go, what happens is you have a clusterfuck of disharmony with that person that just does not work, and it's stress. It's stress. And if you're someone like me, then you're feeling how they feel. You're stressed for how they feel, not stressed for how you feel. And you don't even get a chance to realize how you feel until it comes to the point, I'm not turning my fucking phone on today because I just need to clear myself of whatever that is. It turns out it's not me, and then this is me. Just bring myself back to some point of focus. Undoing the tangled stress that binds nerve pathways, causes plaque in the brain, locks ideas, and just calibrate to something that has a mantra with direction. Om mani padme hum, 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 om mani padme hum. Om mani padme hum. Yeah, I feel like I need to do something with a particular focus now to just get something there, and I don't really want to put too much effort into it, because then there's the lock up, fuck up kind of thing. I noticed that resonance and playing the guitar seems to just flow today, so maybe that's the kind of thing that is the moon energy today. And it must be in Pisces, is it? So maybe that's flow, you see. Which would add extra irony. And do notice the stress, first of all, with that. Like, if it's a thing to just play a sound, and that's got a resonance that's hitting me, then that's what you do, yeah? But all this other stuff needs to be done, and it's not the time for it. It just won't happen anyway. And relationships and interactions will be stressful. Ironically, if a Pisces woman came and wanted to have a nice, just gentle Piscean time like this, it was right there for it, but it was the expectations and limits and things need to be addressed a certain way. They don't mean this, don't mean that. That is the stress and pushes it away, and you end up not getting the very thing you want and already had. Keep on saying you got something for me, something you call love and confess. You've been messing when you shouldn't be messing. Now someone else has been getting on your best. Boots made for walking. That's just what they're gonna do. One of these days, these boots are they're gonna walk all over you. They're gonna walk all over you. They're gonna walk all over you. Well, you keep on lying when you ought to be truthing. Keep on losing when you're on that bed. Keep on saying when you ought to be changing. But yeah, well, what's right is right, but you ain't been right yet. The boots are made for walking. Honey, that's just what they're gonna be doing. Gonna treat me right. So one of these days, these boots, they're just gonna have to walk. They're gonna walk all over you. They're gonna walk all over you. They're gonna walk all over you. I was really doing this thing now, like I sort of slow down and feel it out. It does feel like it kind of loses momentum, though, doesn't it? Don't mean it to lose momentum, because it loses that compelling power. Well, you keep on playing where you shouldn't be playing. You keep on thinking you'll never get burned. Well, your woman just got a brand new box of matches, don't you know, fella? Yeah, what she knows, you ain't had time to learn. These boots are made for walking. And that's just what they've been doing. 'Cause now they've been walking all over here, man. And they're gonna walk over you. It gives you a look at how you feel anyway, doesn't it? And I was going to do one more. What was I? Yeah. As soon as you're born, they make feel small. By giving you no time, instead of it all. Till the pain is so big, feel nothing at all. Working class hero is something to be. Working class hero is something to be. They hurt you at home, they hit you at school. Hate you if you're clever, despise a fool. Till you're so fucking crazy, you can't even follow the rules. A working class hero is something to be. Hero is something to be, something to be, something to be. They're torturing and scratching now. Oh, 20 odd years. Well, then they expect you, just 'cause they go out there and just pick a career. Can't really function, you're so full of fear. Working class hero is something to be, something to be, something to be. Working class hero is something to be, something to be. Something to be. Working class hero is something to be. Something to be. I just noticed I'm not really projecting with directions, so I'm gonna do that from now on to see if it's a difference, yeah? Working class hero is something to be. 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 It's interesting how the microphone makes me have some kind of automatic restraint. Working class hero is something to be. There's something there in that one. Focus through. Working class hero is something to be. Working class hero is something to be. Something to be. Working class hero is something to be. That's the only one that's really gone somewhere. That's interesting. That's why I'm doing it. Can you find something out about yourself? Keep your dope with religion. Keep your dope with TV. Keep your dope with sex and politics. Propaganda free. You think you're so civilized, free, class free. But you're still just fucking peasants, far as I can see. Working class hero is something to be. Working class hero is something to be, something to be. Working class hero is something to be. Working class hero is something to be. That's why I keep looking that way, because the microphone's over there. And that's a very interesting exercise, because when I'm focused that way, then I don't really want to project past, and it took a lot to project to eternity. So what was the rest like to listen to? How interesting that came out. Restraint was the big thing that came up in training last night, and Jackie demonstrated absolute amazing restraint. And the contrast of how restraint is expressed between different human beings is a phenomenon. There's a way of doing this so that the camera does. Okay, so blue tack here. Hope that's not putting too much noise on the microphone. This one I want to do as a ballad, so I want the microphone to be close. So there we go. Mum and Dad and Denny saw the passing out parade at Puckabum. There was a long march to cadets. 6th Battalion was next to tour. It was me who drew the card. Did Canunga show water before we left. And towns along the footpaths as we marched down the quay. The newspaper clipping shows us all young and strong and clean. There's me in my sloucher with my SLR greens. God help me, I was only 19. From Bungtaraj and Nooks to the dust of Nuidat. Been in our shops now for months. See, that happened because I looked at myself and our thoughts, and I see that happen. So from the dust of Nuidat. So this is a real thing. It shows how I feel. I feel like fuck. I'm starting again because that shouldn't have happened, you see, and so everything gets compressed into the simple micro points that they become ultra important. And it kind of fits because like every heartbeat is just as important as the other. No one heartbeat is more important than the other, than any other heartbeats, is it? It doesn't work that way. So this is a bit like that. But since I put that pressure on myself a few years ago, then these kind of mistakes can come up, even if they come up just once. Just once. So it's not thinking about that. I think I had something, blah, 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 blah. So I'm working with that. Elvis is trying to tell me something. He's saying it's time to get going and get shit together. And yes, Albert, it certainly is. Probably working tonight again. But each day that you can't deal with something becomes less and less of something worth saving, you know, so direction flows. Here we go. So angst is the thing that I want to get across, but I don't want it to be off-putting. So I've got to find the right balance, you see. Mum and Dad and Daddy saw the past now parade of Puck Pony. Well, there was a long march to I guess. The 6th Battalion was the next to tour. It was me who drew the card. We did Canungra Shoal Water before we left. The towns were on the footpaths as we all marched down to the quay. A newspaper clipping that shows us young and strong and clean. There's me in my slouch hat with my SLR grease. God help me, I was only 19. From Bungtao Raj and Nooks to the dust in Nui Dat. I've been in and out shops now for months. But we made a tent at home with VB, pin-ups on the lockers, and all that usual kind of stuff. Sat back, cracked a beer in an Asian orange sunset through the scrub. So can you tell me, doctor, why I still can't get sleep? Night time's just a jungle dark, fucking barking M16. What's this rash that comes and goes? Can you tell me what the hell it means? God help me. I was only 19. 4-week operation on time, where each step could mean your last one on 2 legs, literally. God damn it, he was a war with himself. We were Aussies, so we just wouldn't let our mates down. No way, not until we had us all dusted off, or we all died. So you just closed your eyes and you thought about something else. You walked real soft. And someone yelled out, "Contact front!" And the bloke behind me swore as he hit the ground. And we hooked in there for hours. So that was going mighty raw. My best mate Frankie kicked the mine, and Dayman can't kick the moon. God help me. He's going home in June. There's a Frank sitting there drinking tinnies one sunny afternoon at the Grand Hotel. A 36-hour record in the hotel. I can see Frankie lying there screaming in that dark jungle all alone. Till the morphine finally came to kill that bloody round. And the eerie silence that followed. The Aztec legends never mentioned. But the blood and the tears. Stories my father told me, we just never even seen what I read. Caught some pieces in my back that I didn't even feel. God help me. I was only 19. So can you tell me, doctor, why I still can't get sleep? Why Channel 7 chocolate? Why if I can tune into my feet? What's this rash that comes and goes? Can you tell me what the hell it means? God help me. I was only 19. not real impressed, but it does give me a look at how I feel, so it shows something, you know. That's what it shows. And ironically, the guitar does seem to sound and feel quite good today. But I've got to rush off to go do other things. So one more is one of the only ones that I remember from that I kept discarding all the creation. Well, somehow I feel like it ain't gonna be happening like that again. It's like I'm tripping, like it's hard to take, and I just can't just blame it in me. I wish that things could be being better, so many. What? Trying to lie to myself. Well, somehow I feel like it ain't gonna be happening like that again. No matter what I've done, I feel like severing. It's literally true. Somehow I feel like it ain't gonna be happening like that again. Like I'm tripping, like it's hard to take, and I just can't not to scream my name. But yeah, I think I wish that things could be better. Time to sing, but now I gotta do certain kind of circumstance. No matter what, even if it kills me today. Oh, I know I'll be alright, 'cause I'm always on my way. I've been keeping it just tight enough to be always ready and shape enough to take any ride that comes my way. And I'm always savoring every time of the thing. All the hardest times and the toughest times I had best iterate. I can savor it just as much as the best. Oftentimes savoring a lot of the hard times I've been savoring. Oh, how you want to see it? Good and bright, dark, everything heavy line. Pleasant, you want more or less, you want brave and fine. Just is what it is, and you feel like you're living and learn and understand. Evolve and grow. I thought that's the plan, so I've been savoring. I've been savoring every time and thing. No matter hardest times I've been savoring. Giving love, getting out, I'm savoring. It's always love, life is savoring. I've been savoring. Yeah, I just feel like I sort of got a bit more confidence and freedom to explore directions than what I had last night. Definitely after training. Training was so good last night to finish off a really monumental week. There's a camera here looking at you. So I kind of have this freedom to explore in certain directions with a certain vibe or feeling, so to speak. And yeah, I can really hone in on it now today after the feedback that John gave me, that it seems like I got lost, or I changed my mind and changed direction. I got lost and didn't really know what I was doing. It's the adding of restraint is the thing that's relevant there. Yeah, so I kind of fucked it up and lost it somewhere there. That's good enough. At a point there, I got a vibe that I got something now. I've released something. I got chi moving through my body where there wasn't. My hands can feel like they can bend now. Headache is nowhere near what it was. So I've got to run with this momentum now and go and get some things done with about half an hour of dark to go. And pleasantly, meditatively doing it now. Oh, I've got to eat my breakfast first. See, the other thing is, like, if you do this, get back to a calibration, then forget to eat, rush off to the next thing, which happens when bloody phone's switched on, that can happen, and then I don't realise that I didn't eat my breakfast. And I got oats. I want to eat my breakfast. I want to feel good, you know. That's a big thing. I felt like I'd given blood on Friday night because I'd forgotten to eat 3 times. When I've been doing fasting, then I go to eat, then I've forgotten to eat and been interrupted, and I was quite focused and stressed and distracted about how the hell I'm going to work this out with dogs. And I forgot to eat 3 days in a row after being fasting for 4 days. And then on Friday, then I felt like I'd given blood. I just had no blood until I ate this food, and I had 2 meals, and then I felt like I was starting to take something on. So that was actually quite a concerning little thing too. So all of this, things are better. I'm doing monumentally better than what I've ever done in my life. That became clear, and all the points of measure of within self really show that, and get these extra results that are actually quite a good bonus. However, on paper it looked terrible. It was clear that I was doing stuff, even as far as just making people feel comfortable and accepted and welcomed, accepted as they are, and respected as they are, and valued as they are, without doing anything at all. I was clearly transforming something over the weekend as far as ideas are concerned, at the very least, without doing anything at all. If there was anything that I was doing intentionally with focus, it was focusing back to me to clear my headache, my stress, so that I wasn't in a state of stress. Very interesting stuff. Hour and 43 minutes. Have not even touched on or gotten across a fraction of what I wanted to get across, I feel. Caught up in all this other stuff, addressing that so that it's addressed. I feel that something has been addressed for me, and if that, I really hope, has been put through this, and if anyone does ever watch this, that they definitely got something from it, at least something from it, make it worthwhile. Yeah. Needed to write. I should write early in the day before doing anything else, so that's done. The 15 times thing that John's given me, that exercise. And as long as I play guitar in the morning, even 15 minutes, it's fine. It's great. It takes it on the next day. If I don't do that, I notice it's actually something I've become very dependent on. Used to do this kind of stuff. Maybe come back to that, just like rhythm. Just got to get rhythm. Rhythm. Alright, I'll finish saying that I used to, before I could play music, I used to stir a cup of tea, make a cup of tea and put sugar in it, and I'd be stirring it up, and I could play a symphony, like a full song, like a symphony. Somehow I lost that ability. Don't try to put energy. It's like play acting, so to speak, rather than acting. Don't lose the intensity. O splendour of sunbird breaking forth this day, whereon I may lay my hands once more on Helen my wife. And yet it is not so much as men think, for the woman's sake I came to Troy. But against that guest proved treacherous, who like a robber carried the woman from my house. Neutral in 6 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Finish. Over.